And presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has pledged to scrap the e-levy tax on electronic financial transactions if elected. This promise made during his first major address as NPP flag bearer taps into widespread public dissatisfaction with the tax and raises crucial questions about its potential impact on government revenue, financial inclusion and economic growth.
ECD with appropriate privacy protections will be the ultimate weapon in our fight against corruption because it will provide transparency, reduce the risk of fraud, robbery, tax avoidance, and money laundering, since it will be easy to track the movement of money and identify suspicious activity. The ECD will quicken the pace of Ghana's move towards a cashless or near cashless society. Ladies and gentlemen, to move towards a cashless economy, however, we have to encourage the population to use electronic channels of payment. To accomplish this, under my administration, there will be no taxes on digital payments. The e-levy will therefore be abolished.
Dr. Bawumia also assured his government will ensure that cost of living is reduced to the barest minimum. He noted that this will be done through the abolition of certain taxes and reduction in public transport cost.
A major priority of my government will be to reduce the cost of living. The cost of living in the world has increased massively following the COVID pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. Global inflation has increased from 1.55% in 2016 to 8.7% at the end of 2022. That is average. This is a five-fold increase. In particular, the increase in the cost of living has been driven by increases in food prices, energy prices, housing rents, and transport prices. Therefore, any attempt to reduce the cost of living on a sustainable basis must tackle agriculture, energy, housing, and transport prices.
So that was the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, speaking there. Meanwhile, consumer advocacy group CATS International has welcomed his promise to abolish the electronic transactions levy, also known as the e-levy. Speaking to 3 Business, Regional Director of CATS International, Kusi Apia Adomako, says this will not only enhance the patronage of the digital service, but also boost the government's financial inclusion agenda.
This speech helps us to see the departure of Bawumia from some policies of the current administration, and we are very hopeful that if he's elected into office, I'm sure that he should give effect to this particular thing that he has said. We've had it in the past when politicians, when they are running for office, they will say a lot of things, and when elected, then they do something. And I can see that Vice President Bawumia, when he was in opposition, was against some taxes in which he called them nuisance taxes. For example, the previous administration had VAT on financial services. When the government came into office in 2017, they abolished those nuisance taxes. And I can also say that e-levy is also a nuisance tax, and we Ghanaians look forward to the abolition of the e-levy come 2025, whichever government that comes into office.
So that was Regional Director of CATS International, Kusi Apia Adomako, speaking there. Now, in a related development, the Ministry of Finance has issued a directive to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, to halt the implementation of the value-added tax VAT on electricity consumption by residential customers. This decision follows the Ministry of Finance letter dated December 12, 2023, and a subsequent press statement released on January 30, 2024. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
The suspension of the planned implementation of the 15% value-added tax on domestic consumption of electricity is intended to allow for comprehensive engagements with the expectation of devising innovative and inclusive strategies to address the existing fiscal gap while enhancing economic resilience. This move, government says, underscores its commitment to fostering constructive dialogue and collaborative decision-making in matters affecting both consumers and the broader economic landscape. This move follows the Trade Union Congress's resolve to embark on an industrial action to herald a massive protest to press home their demand for a total withdrawal of the 15% VAT on electricity consumption. Meanwhile, government had earlier agreed to initiate a conversation with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to come to a consensus on how it can make up for the revenue shortfall occasioned by the decision to drop the VAT on electricity policy through some extra cuts on spending.
Now, that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, the spokesperson for the civil society organization in the extractive industry, Dr. Steve Manteau, is calling on the government to take policy actions and a change in investment strategy on Ghana's petroleum production as outputs continue to decline. A citizen's version of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee PIAC report indicated that Ghana's oil production has been on the decline since 2019.
You observe from the report that from 2019 to 2022, petroleum production has been on decline. What this means, not many of us can tell, but it could be that from 2019 to 2022, it could be the result of COVID-19 pandemic and its disruption to global supply chains, which affected oil production. But it could also be as a result of energy transition and the lack of investments globally into fossil fuel projects. And it could also be that our petroleum industry has peaked. We've gotten to the optimum and now we are on a decline. All these will mean that government will have to take certain policy actions.
So you had the spokesperson of the civil society organization in the extractive industry, Dr. Steve Manteau. Meanwhile, Ghana earned in excess of $521 million from petroleum funds in the second half of 2023. The Ghana Petroleum Funds report for the period under review has revealed. In the first half of 2023, petroleum funds raked in some $540 million.
The country secured $319.73 million from crude oil liftings in the last 3 months of 2023. The crude oil lifting took place between May 2023 and October 2023. The country also got $198.6 million from corporate tax during the second half of 2023. The taxes were from crude oil liftings by Cosmos Energy, Tullow Oil and Petro SA. Ghana again earned $3.32 million as interest from the Petroleum Holding Fund. Other income from service rental was estimated at $112,082. For the Ghana Petroleum Fund's investment, the nation earned $1.23 billion during the period. The Ghana Heritage Fund brought in $1.046 billion, whilst the $190.38 billion was gotten from the Ghana Stabilization Fund.
Well, that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Let's now turn our attention to the currency market to bring you updates on how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and also how key commodities are performing on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 12 cedis 9 pesos. It recorded no price change. The British pound gained 5 pesos and it is selling at 15 cedis 26 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis 1 peso. It gained 2 pesos. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude oil is up by 0.73%, selling now at about $79 per barrel, while the price of an ounce of gold is up by 0.04%, selling at about $2,035. Price of cocoa is up by 2.62%, selling at $5,241 per ton.
So those are updates from the currency and the commodities market, and that will be all for the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Ogbodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe, and Sunrise continues.